Hi there. So today I would just like to talk through some of the data that we collect when we're doing coaching sessions. So the first one is Trackman. So what we see here is we've got a little video. It's a little low resolution, but got a video on the left, and we've got some dispersions here on the right. So I have hit today at the golf lab. I hit a 9-iron, a 6-iron, and a 3-wood. So looking at these, what we're ideally looking for dispersion-wise is very narrow bands. So this shape here, where it's with the purple 9-iron, is pretty good, where the pulls go slightly further and the pushes go slightly less. That's probably a good, you know, there's a couple of shots there that weren't great. And then with the 6-irons, again, a couple of shots weren't very happy with at all. One was really bad, and 4 really nice shots. And then 3-wood, again, very similar, you know, 4 pretty good shots, and then a couple of slightly loose ones. And that's pretty much represents my golf, which is good, because that's what we want. We want a fair reflection of what I do, so we can, you know, make a change. So then what we look at is from a numbers point of view. If we get, and this does seem like a lot, but this is more from a coaching perspective than a learning one. So if we go down through the numbers, and so it's a 3-wood first, so club speed's just over 100, which 3-wood's pretty good. It's pretty good speed. Hitting down on it slightly, again, it's not so bad. Some people would, you know, you could argue that you could hit it a bit further if you hit it a little bit closer to the bottom of the arc. I personally like a little bit of down. It makes it easier to keep straight. Those are things we can discuss later on as to why that is. But you know, it's definitely an option. Club path slightly on the inside, and the face slightly, just ever so slightly, generally close to that path. So it's just a very gentle draw, which is again generally my normal shape. The contact, you know, very, very good. So I'm striking the ball very well. Ball speed, getting great ball speed out of it. So actually, the ball striking, you know, the launch angle is a little, it's a little low for 3-wood, and the spin rate is not too bad for 3-wood. Actually, the distance is very good for a 3-wood. So all in all, you know, hit them pretty well. It was more the direction. So the club was generally a little bit closed, but it went from being a little bit open to a little bit closed. So there's a bit of a inconsistency there. So then 6-iron, again, very, very similar. Mostly hitting down on it, very similar club speed, good club speed. Path, interestingly, with the irons not in the inside, slightly going left. And, you know, again, that slight variation is the concern. 9-iron again, so speed very good. Hitting down it a bit more, which we should do. More on the inside again with the 9-iron, which is interesting. So really, what we're looking at from a figure point of view here is that I've got pretty good ball striking, lack of control of club face, and a little bit lack of control of the path. So my direction. But I actually strike it pretty well, which is pretty much the way I feel about how I play. So now looking at the video, the technique, what, you know, the things that I, you know, and obviously this is a swing that I know very well, and these are things that we will change. I will invite you to look at that. So the things that happen in my swing are, first of all, take it away in a good plane, a little bit lifted, but pretty good. Then getting a pretty hunched position at the top with my shoulder blades raising, but not bad. Now then from there, I thrust towards the target, and that is my pelvis moves that way. So it's moving towards the ball, and then that brings my hands out ahead of the plane, the yellow line here, the plane, and then to get the club back on plane, I've got to really throw my wrists down very violently, and I do. And then because the angle now is very vertical, the club has got to rotate around a very small arc. So there's a lot of arm and forearm work needed to square that club face because my hands are so high. So what that means is I've got a very much golf swing that's based on high practice. It needs a lot of coordination, a lot of timing. It's not ideal for someone who plays once or twice a week, if he's very fortunate. So my decision is simple, that I'm going to change it. Now what I'm going to do is I've got to stop the thrust forwards and then get my hand plane correct, which is going to allow me to have a much more passive club face through impact. So I'll talk through that in more detail in later posts, but this is just to give you a little insight into how Trackman data works and how we collaborate the data with the video. And next week I will look at the 3D data of my swing and talk you through how we're going to help use that to improve this thrust and therefore the lack of club face control. Okay, hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you soon. Bye.